Good morning. Welcome back to the show. It is a beautiful Thursday, April the 4th, 2024. James Roy XRP, the James Roy Crypto Show. Welcome back. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a crypto teacher. I educate the public. I talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, the new things, the new flourishing ecosystems, and I love it. I'm passionate about what I do. We got a lot of things to cover today. I'll tell you what, we're going to look at FlareFox. We're going to look at an article where Google is suing some fake crypto apps. We're going to look at Anodos, where you can actually purchase crypto without going to a centralized exchange, AnodosSwap. We're going to look at an incredible article from Rosalind Layton, a contributor to Forbes, and she is pro-crypto, pro-XRP, pro-Ripple, anti-SEC, anti-Gary Gensler. And then in this video, I'm going to show you the division of security at the SEC's leader, Gerber Graywall, or Gerber Graywall. Call him Goober Graywall. It's a video clip where he's bashing the crypto, and a couple days ago, Hester Peirce was saying good things and bad things about the SEC, how, you can't come in and talk to us. Well, Gerber Graywall is bashing the entire industry, and he's got to go, baby. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to look at the numbers, but before we do, this episode today is sponsored by iTrustCapital. iTrustCapital. They are an opportunity to invest in digital assets, swap digital assets through an IRA or a Roth IRA. You can roll over existing 401ks and existing IRAs free of charge, no monthly charges. Check it out. There's a link below. Tell them James Roy XRP sent you by, baby. All right, let's look at the numbers. Total crypto market cap, $2.601 trillion. If we zoom in, Bitcoin, $66,755. Ethereum, $33.52. Oh, and let me hit my favorites. I'm sorry. We're looking at everything. I just want to look at my favorites. Solana, 187, XRP, 57.8 cents. Yikes, but it's okay. Cardano, 58, Stellar, 12, HBAR's a dime, VeChain's around a nickel, Algo's 24 cents, Quant, $121, Flare Networks right at 4 pennies, XDC, 4 pennies, Casper, 3 cents, Vitho token, 0.4 of a penny, and Songbird, 1.3 pennies. Do your research, people. Let's go ahead and get into it. Let me show you what I dove into this morning. There's been a lot of chit chat going around about FlareFox it's $FLX. So I went into my Bifrost wallet. I took some Flare and I flipped it in the FlareFox. There's a lot of chatter going on. I know it's a meme coin, but the public is talking about it. So I figure I'd dip my toes in a little bit. What you got to do, you go to, I'm going to leave the link below, app.blazeswap.xyz/swap. And what you're going to do, you're going to connect your Bifrost wallet to it, or you can connect Firefox or many others. You're going to select your token. And then first, what you have to do, you have to come up here to the cogwheel and choose your slippage. I chose 3%, 3 to 5%, because if you don't, the transaction is not going to be successful. So what you do, you select token Flare. You select token FLX to swap it for. You connect the Bifrost wallet. When the swap is done, it's going to put the FLX into your Bifrost wallet, and your Flare is going to purchase it. Do your research, not financial advice. All right, here we go. Check this out. This just came out today on CNBC. Google sues crypto scammers for allegedly uploading fake apps to the Android App Store. Crazy, man, crazy. Let's look at it. It says Google filed a lawsuit on Thursday against a group of crypto scammers alleging they defrauded more than 100,000 people globally. Google says it's the first among its peers to take action against crypto scammers. The company aims to use the litigation as a way to set the legal precedents to protect its users. Now, you got to be careful. You cannot download an app from an email. You cannot download an app from a comment on Twitter or X or response and a help desk or whatever. Don't believe everything you see. Don't believe these emails, these fake emails from Ledger wallets, from ELLIPAL, from PayPal, from Amazon, all the above, because they're trying to entice you to do something that you shouldn't do. Here we go. Google filed a lawsuit on Thursday against a group of crypto scammers, alleging they defrauded more than 100,000 people across the globe by uploading fraudulent investment in crypto exchange apps to Google Play. Google says it's the first tech company to take action against crypto scammers, and it is doing so as a way to set a legal precedent to establish protections for users. The lawsuit claims that the defendants made multiple misrepresentations to Google in order to upload their fraudulent apps to Google Play, including but not limited to misrepresentations about their identity, location, and the type and nature of the applications being uploaded. The Alphabet-owned company is bringing civil claims under the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations (RICO) law, as well as breach of contract claims against a group of scammers who the company said created and published at least 87 fraudulent apps to dupe users. This is sick, and people are getting taken every day. People are getting taken every day. There is a flipping Brad Garling hat. Let me scroll down here. I put a bunch of stuff up. Look at this. This freaking idiot here. I said, go away, effing scammer. You've been blocked and reported. So this Jordan at KXIsaacs_BTC put this bullshit out there. The XRP token distribution event is now live for all token holders. An impressive total of 100 million tokens are set up for grabs, and they give this fake link, and it's not real. And what they're doing, what this asshole right here is trying to do, is get you to send them your XRP, thinking that you're going to get 10 times or 100 times back. It's not going to happen, people. It's not. It never will happen. You're going to lose your money. Okay. If you didn't get a chance to watch last night's premiere of my interview with Jesse Hines, Seed Starter, Forged in Crypto, GG Collective, you need to watch it, because what Jesse and the gang are doing, they're giving non-accredited investors an opportunity to invest in game companies, new seed starters, all of the above, and you don't have to be an accredited investor, and they're getting started, and it's little as $25. Not financial advice. Check out the video. It's the one from last night. Seed Starter Equity Crowdfunding Platform for the unaccredited investors. And the neat thing about it, Crypto in My Veins, at crypto_in_my veins, tweeted out, replied to it, and said they should partner with Killer Whales TV for a funding round for the public. And he tagged Crypto Wendio. Killer Whales TV is a business reality TV show. Killer Whales, watch now, Apple TV, Amazon, etc. Jesse Hines said that would be pretty cool. Wendy O, who is well known in the community, tagged Sander Gortez, who is the co-owner of the Hello Labs, executive producer for Killer Whales TV. And Sanders said, Jesse Hines, let's talk. Wow. Hope for the best on that one. All right, Panos is well known in the community. He is the creator, the architect for Anodos Finance. Anodos Finance is a front door to get you into the automated market makers when they go live again on April the 12th. There is a DEX, there is a swap, and check this out. Instead of going to a centralized exchange, check this out. In case you missed it, last month we integrated the fiat to crypto OnRamp on AnodosSwap, so you can buy XRP and other crypto without having to use multiple platforms or a centralized exchange. Our integration offers global OnRamp coverage, aggregation of 20 plus OnRamp providers, 130 plus payment methods globally, industry-leading success rates, and the lowest end-user fees possible. You could buy XRP now at swap.anodos.finance and devnet.anodos.finance. Check it out. This is it. You go to the Anodos swap.anodos.finance page. I'll leave a link below. You attach a wallet. You're going to come over here to trade, and you're going to choose OnRamp, and it says if you spend 1,000 USD, you're going to get 1,670 XRP. You could also choose different currencies to purchase. Hello. Check it out. Thank you, Panos. Thank you for offering this to the community. I look forward to interviewing you here in the very near future. All right, Rosalind Layton at Rosalind Layton. She is a contributor. She is a very well-known person that knows the law, that knows that the SEC is not regulating crypto correctly. And she has a new article, and she states that the SEC came to destroy crypto, not to regulate it. Check it out. Here's the article at DC Journal. We're going to cover it. Bear with me. It is lengthy. There are some words in here that I may screw up because I'm from Texas, and I say it the way I see it. So bear with me. Here we go. This came out on April the 3rd by Rosalind Layton. The SEC came to destroy crypto, not to regulate it. Listen up, people. There's Gary Gensler looking freaking confused. All right. Following the Security and Exchange Commission's effort to stretch, bend, and twist the law to grant itself authority to regulate cryptocurrencies has been like watching an exhaustive video game. By the last level, the monster has grown so grotesque and ridiculous that you're waiting for the relief of seeing it explode so the comforting words "game over" can finally appear. Unfortunately, it's not a game for many innovative U.S. financial tech companies. The SEC has mobilized all its resources to carry out a policy against crypto companies that is not designed to protect investors from fraud or even to clarify what legal compliance means. It is practicing what Professor J.W. Verrett of George Mason University has called enforcement by destruction, trying to turn courts into execution chambers for an industry it never intended to regulate but to destroy. It comes down to a bait and switch strategy by two successive SEC chairmen to claim that every digital asset, no matter how it is designed, is itself a crypto asset security that gives the agency full authority to require they be registered like stocks. Nothing in nearly a century of securities law provides the SEC such all-encompassing authority over an entire asset class. But the SEC strategy was never to prove this theory in court so much as to have a pretext to launch enforcement actions never meant to bring anyone into compliance. Reading over the court dockets of SEC non-fraud enforcement actions against crypto companies, the malicious roadmap becomes clear. First, the agency has never issued a single regulatory guideline registering a digital asset or determining whether it will be a security. There are no forms, no instructions, no published rules for registration. Companies that go to the SEC in good faith to ask for guidance have instead gotten subpoenaed and sued for failing to register despite having no idea how. It has been an exercise in gaslighting, as not one cryptocurrency transaction among billions has ever been registered by the SEC, nor do they ever intend to allow a registration to happen. It's crazy. It's hypocrisy. She's spitting out the truth here. The SEC's lawsuits seek such huge dollar figures in disgorgement and penalties at the start that companies often see no choice but to fold like a library. The few who decided to fight have exposed how truly bad the SEC's faith has become. Such has been in the case for Ripple Labs. This California-based payment software company offers international settlement using the XRP token as a bridge currency. The SEC sued Ripple in December of 2020, claiming that the XRP token itself was a security, which meant every offer and sale of XRP was an unregistered investment in the company, even on secondary markets between parties that had no knowledge or connection to Ripple. It was a novel legal theory that twisted decades of jurisprudence on securities laws. It was clearly designed to give the government enough leverage to force Ripple to close its doors. But in her July 2023, U.S. District Court Judge Annalisa Torres firmly shot it down. It took nearly 3 years, and according to Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse, over $100 million in legal costs to get clarity that the XRP token is not a security when offered or sold on public exchanges. Along the way, the SEC was castigated by the magistrate judge for dragging out the case where unnecessarily complicated litigation tactics that lacked a faithful allegiance to the law. Torres found that only one set of $700 million in sales of XRP to institutional investors constituted securities that should have been registered. No fraud was alleged, and none of the investors had lost money or been harmed. However, instead of using the decision to lay out a registration framework for future companies to be compliant with this technicality, the SEC could only chafe at how it impeded its one and only objective, to destroy Ripple. Recently, the SEC dropped all pretenses. It filed a proposed final judgment requiring Ripple to pay $2 billion in disgorgement and penalties for this non-fraud technicality. That is 300% of the value raised by the institutional sales of XRP. The SEC's brief reads like a vengeful diatribe, which exhibits that include nearly 30 pages of tweets where retail holders of XRP, including myself in that document, the people the agency is allegedly protecting, celebrated Torres' ruling that the token is not a security. As Verrett noted, most final settlements in non-fraud cases in recent years where defendants simply failed to register averaged less than 12% of the original penalty sought by the SEC. Not one of those settlements provided clarity to the markets about how crypto sales can be compliant. However, several companies were destroyed in the process. What other goal could the SEC have with its absurd $2 billion demand other than to destroy Ripple? It is encouraging that the courts have been knocking the SEC back in this and many other high-profile cases. However, not every defendant has the resources to fight. Enforcement by destruction wins by attrition more than merit, thanks to the political acquiescence of a government with no qualms with the SEC that actively seeks to destroy capital formation rather than facilitate it. Thank you very much, Rosalind Layton. Hand clap, hand clap. Thank you so much. Getting it out there, telling the truth, showing how hypocritical, how vengeful the SEC and Gary Gensler is at putting these fintech companies out of business, charging them with fines, making up the rules as they go, running these companies out of the United States. It's got to stop, people. It's got to stop. Finally, yesterday was the second day of this ridiculous SEC meeting. The first day had Gary Gensler. It had Hester Peirce bashing the shit out of the SEC. And yesterday, Gerber Graywall, who is the director of the SEC's Division of Enforcement, totally bashes crypto, totally says so many negative things, applying it to the Howey test of 19 blah, blah, blah. Well, we need a new SEC, people. And I'm going to finish the video off with this 16-minute video. You're going to shake your head. You're going to be pissed off just as much as I am when I saw it. I put it out on X. I'm going to leave a link to everything below. I hope you really enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, The James Real Crypto Show. Share it and have a look, because I told you so.
And stressing the need to create a culture of compliance among market participants. It's my pleasure to turn the program over to Kabir.
Thank you, Grace, and good morning, everyone, and welcome, whether you're here in person or participating virtually from around the country or even overseas. I thank you all for joining us. I'd like to start the day with a quick reminder to first the members of the media who might be here that if you have any follow-up questions on what's said by SEC staff during the conference, please direct your questions to the Office of Public Affairs, and they'll work with you to get you the information that you need. I also want to reiterate yesterday's reminder that the views expressed during the conference by me and the other speakers from the Commission will be in our official capacities and don't necessarily reflect the views of the Commission, the Commissioners, or any members of the staff. Hopefully you don't hear that again all day anyway, now that I've gotten it out of the way. But But welcome to day 2. I have a little competition with Eric Girding. I think day 2 of any festival is better than day 1 of that festival. So if you could reflect that in your reviews, I just would like something more to lord over him. I want to also start by thanking PLI for organizing this event, and importantly for making it available for free to all this year. It's important for us to be able to speak directly to not just the securities bar, but also to everyone that's interested in our work. And that's precisely what we'd like to do today. That is, speak to each of you directly. In a few moments, my Enforcement Division colleagues will talk to you about the what of our work. In other words, those issues that are top of mind to us, whether that's explaining how we're thinking about penalties, disgorgement, and other remedies, highlighting enforcement initiatives, discussing legal developments, or outlining the many ways in which we're trying to encourage and reward cooperation. That type of dialogue benefits all of us. I think by hearing about issues significant to the enforcement program, you all are better able to counsel your clients. And together, we're better able to protect investors, which, after all, should be our shared mission. But before we get to the what, I want to talk to you about the why of our work. It goes without saying that we're facing significant headwinds in our enforcement efforts. There are some out there that question our authority, hoping for a different regulatory regime altogether for their industry. And there are others that question our motivations. And in rare cases, there are also those who question the integrity with which we approach our work. And I'd like to address each of these headwinds in turn, underscoring the importance of our work in the process. In the decade since we brought our first crypto enforcement actions, our approach has been consistent, it's been principled, and it's been tethered to the federal securities laws and legal precedent. After all, every lawyer here knows what the test is to determine whether a crypto asset was offered and sold as an investment contract, and therefore a security. It's the Howey test. It's not the essential ingredients test, or the Beanie Babies test, or some other test that industry folks might like to create for themselves. And for years, the SEC has clearly, and it has consistently applied Howey and its progeny to protect investors in the crypto space. We've applied it to the alleged facts in dozens of orders, complaints, and briefs. These are not secret analyses. They are public documents for the whole world to see. And even those parties that argue in court that their conduct does not somehow implicate the federal securities laws have themselves used Howey internally for years to evaluate their crypto offerings. Of course, that does not mean that all crypto products are offered as investment contracts and therefore securities. But it does mean that the analytical framework, the test for whether something is an investment contract, is the same whether we're dealing with transactions involving crypto products or with transactions involving the many other kinds of offerings that courts have analyzed under Howey. Nevertheless, over this past decade, we have confronted significant noncompliance and many creative attempts by market participants to avoid our jurisdiction, with some claiming that we're making it up as we go, that we are regulating by enforcement, and others arguing that we are somehow recklessly exceeding our authorities. They've variously argued that their crypto products were currencies and therefore beyond our remit, that the term investment contract was unconstitutionally vague and could not be applied to crypto, that their offerings were, quote, utility tokens, not securities, that there was a lack of fair notice, that their conduct implicated the securities laws, that everything was decentralized, and because there were no entities or entrepreneurs involved, we lacked jurisdiction, that there needed to be an actual contract for there to be an investment contract under Howey. And more recently, that there was something called the major questions doctrine that prevented us from using our tools to protect investors in the crypto markets. And at the same time, we've been accused of picking winners and losers, stifling innovation, and driving crypto businesses to some more favorable foreign jurisdictions, wherever they may exist. Listen, a decade's worth of verbal gymnastics that are just a backhanded way of saying that we want a different set of rules than apply to everyone else. A decade's worth of arguments that have served nothing more than as a distraction from the very, very real issues and risks that the crypto markets present for the investing public. And most importantly, a decade's worth of arguments that have been serially rejected in one way or another by court after court. As we have consistently maintained and as court after court has confirmed, the federal securities laws apply equally to everyone. You don't get your own set of rules. Indeed, as one federal court recently stated, quote, "The crypto nomenclature may be of a recent vintage, but the challenged transactions fall comfortably within the framework that courts have used to identify securities for nearly 80 years. The court went on to observe that, quote, using enforcement actions as we have to address crypto assets is simply the latest chapter in a long history of giving meaning to the securities laws through iterative application to new situations," close quote. These crypto enforcement actions, however, have not and are not without challenge to us. Given the stakes and the resources available to our adversaries, they've been among the most hard-fought that I've seen in my legal career. But I am so incredibly proud of the perseverance of our staff, who push forward for one reason alone: because investor protection demands it. Last year, the Pew Research Center released a survey finding that nearly a third of Americans who have ever invested in or traded or used crypto no longer held any. The same survey found that a whopping 3/4 of Americans who have heard about crypto don't believe it to be reliable or safe. Given the continued non-compliance in this space, they have good reason to be concerned. One need look no further than last week's sentencing of Samuel Bankman-Fried. Looking at that sentencing, we see very clearly the impacts of non-compliance. In advance of that sentencing, the victim statements that the Department of Justice filed, hundreds of them, reflected the incredibly broad cross-section of people who were harmed by the fraud that Bankman-Fried was convicted of. Single parents, retirees, young people, grandparents, people who were forced to sell their homes, their cars, or to take on second jobs to make up for their losses, people who had to figure out a way to pay for their mortgages, their education, their retirements, and so on. As another example, just last month, the SEC charged 17 individuals for their role in an alleged crypto Ponzi scheme that raised $300 million from, get this, more than 40,000 investors. And here's what's more. They were all primarily from the Latino community. Several defendants in that matter allegedly solicited investors with promises of financial freedom and risk-free crypto and foreign exchange investments. As alleged in our complaint, in true Ponzi fashion, most of the funds raised in that case were not used for any investments. They were instead used to fund the defendants' lifestyles and to pay supposed returns to other investors. Listen, the predatory inclusion tactics that certain crypto entities are directing at Black, brown, and other marginalized communities are extremely troubling. And here I'm talking about the familiar but so far unsupported narratives that crypto will somehow increase financial inclusion, that it will uplift the unbanked or the underbanked, and that it will help them build wealth and increase upward mobility. We've seen these unlawful tactics on full display in cases where the SEC has charged influencers for touting unregistered crypto offerings to investors. They've done so without disclosing that they were being compensated to do so. We've even charged one celebrity with making materially false and misleading tweets about supposed returns that his crypto investments earned, while not disclosing he was being paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for those very tweets. Whether it's the direct result of these types of efforts or for other reasons beyond the scope of these remarks, crypto assets are the only major financial products that Black Americans are more likely to own than white Americans. And there's some evidence that Black and brown investors were disproportionately harmed during the downturn of crypto markets over the last few years. In the end, the stories of the victims in all of these cases are absolutely devastating, and they are our why. But somehow, those stories are constantly drowned out by tired industry talking points about us exceeding our authorities or destroying innovation. But regardless of the headwinds, we remain committed to using all the tools at our disposal to protect the investing public, including against risks in the crypto markets. And listen, it's my hope that after the latest in that long and growing string of courts affirming our authority to police the crypto markets, that we can somehow finally move past those arguments and address the very real issues present in this industry that lead to elevated investor risk: the fraud, the lack of transparency, the commingling of assets, the conflicts of interest, and the lack of oversight. I want to end by addressing a particular headwind that we face from certain market participants, and that's those attacks on our integrity that I mentioned at the outset. I'm now coming up on 3 years in this role, and like so many of my colleagues, I've spent the majority of my career in public service. During that time, I've had the privilege of working alongside thousands upon thousands of dedicated public servants at the local, state, and federal levels. And here's what I've learned. We don't do this work to round corners and notch wins, nor do we do it for financial incentives or for personal gain. The overwhelming majority of us do it for one reason alone. We believe in standing up for others. And in the case of the men and women of the Enforcement Division, that means standing up each and every day for the investing public. That's why, as we speak, there are investigative teams across our division pouring through voluminous records to, for example, seek emergency relief to stop ongoing frauds. And it's why there's a trial team in New York walking into district court as we speak to present evidence to a jury concerning a massive alleged crypto fraud, all in an effort to hold accountable the individual and the entity responsible for alleged widespread investor harm. And it's why in just a few hours, a trial team in California will walk into district court to hold accountable an insider that allegedly benefited from his position in a way that the rest of us cannot, by engaging in, as we allege, insider trading. Our ability to do all this work, however, hinges and depends on trust and credibility. And I've spoken about this previously. The public must have confidence that we will hold bad actors accountable. We will hold them accountable when they violate the securities laws, regardless of who they are and how powerful they are. And the public, the courts, and each of you in this room and members of the bar must all have confidence in the representations we make when we are advocating to protect investors. We cannot and will not let our zeal to address misconduct compromise that reservoir of trust and credibility that we have and other public servants have contributed to, that they've spent their careers building and protecting. After all, it's that reservoir that allows us to do so much of the good that we're trying to accomplish. And that also means if we fall short, we must first acknowledge our mistakes, as we recently have. And then we must recommit ourselves to doing everything we can to never compromise that reservoir as we also recently have. But here's what we won't do. We won't let any of that criticism that we may face overshadow all of the incredible work being done by the Enforcement Division on a daily basis on behalf of the investing public. And instead, what we will do moving forward is embrace any scrutiny and any criticism that we may face and use it instead to highlight all the good that we are doing on a daily basis. And that's my commitment to the public, that's my commitment to the members of the bar, and that's my commitment to the courts we appear in front of.